I decided to go into the DNP program because I've come from a family of education is valuable. Learning learning is always an opportunity for growth, and I think that eventually I'd like to contribute back to the field in some respect. So whether it be research or developing programs or policies, I've always had kind of that in mind. But I didn't realize, until I was in the program that, yeah, this fits. This is what I want to do as far as like developing policies and procedures and streamlining things. I want to be part of that process. So I think having that DNP is so valuable. It not only shows your experience, it also shows that you are able to do the extra work, go above and beyond, do the research. So that's why I decided to do the doctorate program. And I know my parents, my family history is my grandma, she wasn't educated. So her thing was always, I want your life to be better than what I experienced in the Philippines. And you could see that in how my parents were. And I think that that's a big drive for me, is to, do better, be kind, and just give back. So I think having the doctorate is going to be impactful. Actually, before nursing, I was in social sciences, and I always had this kind of innate drive to serve the most underserved and the most vulnerable populations. And when you're in the hospital setting and you're in bedside, that's the population you're taking care of. They are the most sick. Socioeconomic wise, they are probably under the federal poverty level as far as sickness, the homeless. So I always knew I was going to do something that contributed back to the livelihood of others. And I think just adding on the nursing piece, it just kind of compounded that need to serve. And I think I'm a very empathetic person. I love people. I love challenging situations. I like things that change. And to me, when things are more challenging and you're able to think on your feet, critically think, that's the kind of profession I want to be in, is because you're always thinking, everything changes all the time and nothing's always the same. So I think that's what I love about nursing. I did different specialties. I did acute rehab. I worked in community health and psych and behavioral health. So, and those are challenging challenging specialties to be in. So that's why I wanted to be a nurse. And also I looked up to my mom a lot growing up. She was a nurse. When she first came from the Philippines, she didn't take her boards right away, or she wasn't licensed here, so she had to basically start over. She started as a CNA, became an LVN, passed her boards, and then became an RN. So I just saw that drive to just, you can achieve it if you work hard. So yeah, that's why I love being a nurse. I love helping others, and lots of generational nurses in my family, my aunts, uncles, they're all over the place, Philippines, the Middle East, Europe. So it's nice to kind of have that understanding as a family. So when I was a first new grad, my preceptor, she was a tough lady. Didn't give me any breaks, didn't give me kind of that supportive need that I needed as a new grad, because you're going in, you're new. Everything you do in nursing school is completely different from your experience in the workplace. So you kind of have to find those Easter eggs, I would say, when you're working on the floor, figuring out how to do things. You want to still be by the book, but you want to make sure that you have those resources available. So one of my, I guess, biggest advice is we need to kind of change that culture of eating your young in nursing. I see that a lot with the older generation of Asian American Filipino nurses. But I think it's, you kind of just have to find the right person to be that role model. But yeah, when I first started, it was hard to question things, and not feel bad that you might be doing something wrong or if you make mistakes. So I think just kind of offering a little more love to the new nurses, because it's harder to be in an environment where you feel like you're being overly criticized, especially as a new grad nurse, because it takes time to learn those experiences, right? Like it takes a lot of time for you to get comfortable on the floor, to know what you're doing and to be safe at the same time. So I think that's one thing I feel like should change. And hopefully the new nurses feel a little more love with their preceptors. And but I will say that experience though I feel like made me a little more assertive, not just in the field, but just as a person. So, you're not always going to agree with everybody. You're not always going to have a happy, rosy work day, because that's not nursing at all. Some days will want to quit. And I just want to just tell the new nurses, don't quit. Give it time. It'll get better. And most importantly, just show love and respect. You're learning from the experiences of other nurses is so much more important than what you read in a book. Um, you know, Nursing school prepares you for that NCLEX, but when you're actually in the field and taking care of patients, that's when you learn what kind of nurse you're going to be, how you're going to prioritize things, how you're going to organize things.